振り切った目の後で妖怪にフェイスされ変則バラクラ揺れてる思いさ心の身を失ってカタストロフィーあるねそれ世界に残ってた導くままにくびれ晴れて笑う夢みたい離れてく気
Welcome to Pixel Pizza,
Did she say pizza?
your ultimate source for chiptunes, video game talk, and pepperoni. Delivered to you from Los Angeles and into the digital cyberspace of the 2020s.
Pizza power!
That's right, one super giant pizza.
I want a large, thick crust with double cheese, ham, pepperoni. Hey, where's my pizza? Pizza time.
Welcome back to the Pixel Pizza podcast, listeners. You just heard from our chiptune artist of the week, 8-Bit Gang, and that track was called Underwater. So hope you dug that one. And now we are here with something a little bit different. I was not able to get a guest for this week, unfortunately, but there are many, many more to be coming through the rest of the year, so I hope you are excited for that. And normally, if I can't get a guest, I'll usually just re-upload an old show that maybe didn't get as many listens that I was really proud of. But I thought I'd do something a little different today, and I feel like I've been playing a lot of games this year, This has been an incredible year for video games. Maybe not the industry. The game industry is kind of a dumpster fire right now, especially in the AAA space. My heart continues to go out to all the people affected by the layoffs and everything going on. It's really awful, and I hope you all find success in whatever you choose to do next. So, yes, but I did also want to celebrate the incredible software that released this year, because there has been a surprising amount of really great games that have gotten me through some really tough times, and I am excited to talk about, because I've just been feeling like I want a place where I can yap about it. So that's what we're going to do a little bit today. I know if you just want to hear one guy's opinions about games, there's a million other resources you could have. But I felt like it. So that is what we are doing today. So without further ado, I am going to go down the list I have compiled of the games that I have played and finished this year, because there are some really great ones. And the first one certainly needs no introduction if you've been paying attention to games releasing this year, and that is Clair Obscur Expedition 33 from Sandfall. And I think this game is just a masterpiece. This is a game that I have been waiting for a very long time, ever since I saw that trailer a year or so ago in the Microsoft Game Showcase. I was immediately like, yes, this is a game I need to watch. I wishlisted it. I was right there when it released, and well, actually, I had to wait a few weeks because I ordered it physical, and the physical versions got delayed here in the States. So it was very hard to get for a period of time. But when I finally did get it and sunk my teeth into it, it did not disappoint whatsoever. I've been waiting for a game that really recaptures that sense of scope and drama and adventure that I used to love in JRPGs, turn-based JRPGs, especially back in the day. And I've always wanted one that dealt more with adults and adult problems, especially as I get older, as much as I still love stuff like Persona and some of the other Final Fantasy games. It gets a bit tiring to have it always be about teenagers and young adults. And now that I'm 32, sadly, I've been looking for a story with characters more in my age range that I can relate to a bit more. And this game is literally about people who die the year after, in 1 year from now when I am 33. But I think the art design is phenomenal. It really takes you to this other world. All of the characters are so immaculately performed. You get attached to each and every one of them. The writing is beautiful. The music is out of this world, outstanding. I can't even begin to think about all of the tracks. Lumiere, the Floating Waters theme, of course, all the boss themes. Where do I even start? Monoko's theme, the jazzy one, so good. I could go on and on. But really incredible work from that entire team. I am so excited to see what they do next. I really hope that I can have somebody from Sandfall on the show to talk more about the game with in the future. But for now, I'm just a really big fan. I cosplayed the baguette costume like many others this year at Anime Expo, and that was a blast going around and finding all the other people who were doing the same and taking photos with them and talking about how much we love this game. It really is a bit of an underdog story, and I am so happy that we are continuing to get these new voices in the industry making incredible projects that build upon the past and are just great new things to have. So, going from that to a more classic IP, Doom: The Dark Ages, released a little bit after that, and that game was really cool. I mean, it doesn't have a deep story. They added a lot more cutscenes to this one, which I felt weren't as good because Doomslayer in this universe is kind of just the soldier of the king and queen and princess, and so you're just watching all of them do their stuff, and it feels kind of detached, and so it got kind of boring. But the gameplay, as always, is amazing. I love how they use the sort of medieval meets science fiction setting to create all these new amazing weapons. I like the parrying system. I like how it changes the way you play the game. Maybe I prefer the original Doom 2016 still more, with how it was more about running around and always being on the move as opposed to standing and fighting. That was what they called it in like the marketing material. But I think it was still a blast of a game. I loved searching every nook and cranny for different upgrades. I loved riding the dragon and piloting the mech, and they just know how to make a really cool game that makes you feel cool. And I think that is something that maybe has gotten less popular over the years, but I think it still has a place, and it is still so much fun playing the Doom games. So hopefully there are more to come after this trilogy. Or just, yeah, if id wants to take a crack at something new with that same vibe, I would absolutely be there for it. Now we are going to talk about Monster Train 2, which is the sequel to a deck-building roguelike indie game. Take a shot every time you see one of those, but I really love them. Monster Train 1 was a big addiction of mine a while ago, and I was just super excited for the sequel, and yeah, I would say it delivered. I mean, all the new classes are really fun to play with. If you haven't played it, it's basically you are piloting this train, and all of your cards are denizens of hell. I guess tying back to Doom, but you have to like put them in sort of tower defense style on this train to protect your train from the angels, and you're trying to ascend to heaven. And so there's a lot of good strategy with building up your deck, and the music is really good. The character designs are a lot of fun. They had some cute little crossovers in this game with stuff like Balatro, and I liked that. And I thought it was a bit more of the same, but still a really good time, and you can unlock all of the previous classes from the first game and when you get later on, and I liked that a lot. It just, continued to expand on it. There's a new update they put out recently, actually, for free, which I've only sort of scratched the surface of. I took a while off from the game after I beat it with every class, so I am looking forward to getting back into that. So, Monster Train 2, really cool one. Go check it out. And I think the next time that I got a brand new game this year was with the launch of the Switch 2, which was very exciting. I was fortunate to get it as a birthday present because the cost of that thing is a bit ridiculous. But it's been a cool system. I've had to deal with some technical difficulties on it. The fan and the dock didn't work, so I was having all these problems where music wouldn't play and the games, where load times would be extremely long, and it was frustrating, especially because Nintendo had been pushing this as the system that was emphasizing performance and graphical fidelity rather than some gimmick. But I think it's doing better now. I just got it back from repairs, so we'll see how that goes. But anyway, of course, the marquee game for the system was Welcome Tour. No, it wasn't. It was Mario Kart World, and so I got that in the bundle because I was not going to pay $80 for it or ask somebody else to pay $80 for it. That is ridiculous, and hopefully Nintendo learned their lesson that this variable pricing strategy should vary to not include $80 games. But Yeah, Mario Kart World, I think a lot has been made of how disappointing it was, especially coming off of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and the incredible track design there and all of the courses that it eventually had over the run of its time on the Switch. But I mean, personally, I still just love the base ones from the Wii U version. I think the tracks there are some of the most inventive and beautiful ones that they've done in the franchise. So, but getting back to Mario Kart World, I love the style. I love sort of the cartoony animations. I think the music is, of course, phenomenal. Definitely, if you don't have a Switch 2, go listen to the playlist of all the music in the game online because it is by far the highlight of the game. Also, the knockout mode is a lot of fun. I think that is probably the best of the new additions gameplay wise. It's really fun and hectic and intense and brings Mario Kart to a new level in some ways. I don't think it completely usurps the classic tracks. I think there's absolutely still a place for those, and unfortunately, Nintendo seems to be undercutting that with the online. So I don't think I like it nearly as much as the previous game. And I know that is a sentiment well shared, but there are a lot of cool things being done. Fingers are continuing to be crossed that they breathe some new life into this game with DLC. Hopefully not something too costly because some people already paid $80 for it. But yeah, that is pretty much everything I can think of because after a few weeks, I kind of dropped off of it. I wasn't really playing it with friends. I was enjoying the knockout tour mode. I managed to win a few times, and that felt really good. But then I was like, well, I kind of climbed Mount Everest there. I don't know why I should be trying to recapture that when I've had that feeling. Okay, moving on. But yeah, some of the tracks are really great. Rainbow Road, Boo Cinema are great, but a lot of them I just can't remember, if I'm being honest. So yeah, kind of fell off of that one, but for what it is cool, but you don't have to run out and get it. Also on the Switch 2 release day was the most recent 2 chapters of Deltarune, which I am absolutely loving. Chapters 3 and 4, which Toby Fox and his team are so talented. They continue to be telling a really funny and touching story with incredible music, addictive gameplay. Just, it's such a big improvement, I think, from Undertale as well. I appreciate having like a party as opposed to just one character who's a silent protagonist. I think it really gets you more invested in the story, and you really want to follow the journey of these characters. And so that has been super exciting to see. I've been loving the super bosses and trying to get all of the shadow crystals. Especially the boss of the 3rd chapter was extremely challenging. It took me like 8 hours to run after run after run, try to beat this enemy. But apparently there was a patch where they made it easier. That didn't release until after I had beaten it. So maybe that's something of a badge of honor for me. Or maybe I should have just waited. I don't know. But that was really tough, and I'm proud to have gotten through it. And the next boss was much easier by comparison, but it was also really good thematically. And, of course, all the music is... I mentioned the music already. What am I doing? It's Toby Fox. Of course you know it's going to be good music. I'm just repeating that over and over, but... It is continues to be a great game. I want to reserve judgment until the full Deltarune package has been released all the way through Chapter 7. so then we can have a full view of the story, of where it goes, of does it stick the landing. But right now, it is absolutely on pace to be an all-timer RPG. So here's hoping. I'd also love to have Toby Fox on the show one day. I know he doesn't really do appearances vocally. I know if I can get him to talk like text-to-speech and we can have a conversation that way, I think that would just be amazing. He's definitely, I would say, in my top 3 most wanted guests on the show, so manifesting that can happen one day. Now, another game that released at the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 that I haven't gotten to spend as much time with, but I really love for a few reasons, is Fantasy Life I, The Girl Who Steals Time. I had been recommended this after hearing so many great things about the original game on 3DS, and I think the world is so whimsical. I love how it's more than just a life sim. It really includes more of the action RPG elements, but you can also work on town building if you want. You can really customize your character. You can get so deep involved into each of the gameplay systems and developing each of the different classes. I like being a fisherman, but also a warrior, so there's a lot to do there. And there's some great exploration in the game. And the Switch 2 version really ups the graphics and everything, and it's only like $2. So if you want it handheld, I definitely recommend doing that. And it's also a very special game to me because it is the first ever officially released console game that I have voice acted in. I was not able to talk about this earlier because of the gaming actors strike, but thankfully that has been since resolved. And I voiced a very cute character named Polo in the game, who is one of the sort of shopkeeper type characters. He's a little animal with an expeditioner's hat and pointy ears, and I had such a blast recording him. I remember I was in the studio with the Japanese director from Level 5, and I had just been told so many times that, like, for video games, you have to keep it down here. You have to use more of your natural voice. And, I mean, I knew this game was silly, but I was still erring on that side. And he was like, no, make it more cartoony. Be more like this. And I was like, okay. And that was what they used. So that's sort of what you'll hear in the game. And it was so much fun to play and so wild to see my name in the credits of a game and see people, streamers that I know, interacting with my character and seeing just so much love. The game, it was like at the top of the charts on Steam for a while after the release. So I'm so glad to see it succeed, and for the team at Level 5, knowing that they are back making games internationally, and I'm very excited to see what they continue to do, and hopefully I can be a part of it again in some way. So very grateful for that. It'll always hold a special place in my heart. Fantasy Life I. Check that one out. And one of the absolute banner games for me this year, a game 26 years in the making. One of my favorite absolute childhood games. There is family videos on VHS of me playing this game, Donkey Kong 64. I mean, I know to people who didn't grow up with it, it didn't age super well, but for me, I got so lost in that world. I loved all of the characters. I loved collecting the bananas. The world just felt so vast to me as a kid, and all of that was absolutely recaptured in Donkey Kong Bonanza, the marquee game for the Nintendo Switch 2. It just felt like such a homecoming for this character. I mean, we've had some incredible 2D games from Retro Studios in the Donkey Kong world, but I think there's something more special after all these years about getting a 3D game, and not just a 3D game, but one that really honors the legacy of the franchise. I highly recommend, if you need more podcast content to listen to, go check out DK Vine. They are the biggest Donkey Kong related fan site on the internet, and they go way, way deeper into this franchise than I can hope to do. But they did a series where, as the game came out, they did an episode each week covering the game world by world and diving deep into the design choices and how it was developing thematically and all the different Easter eggs and references to the series past. And so, if you have any inkling of love for Donkey Kong and need something on a long road trip, go check out The Kongversation. Heil, love you, man. You've been helping me out for years, so definitely check that out. They just finished it, and the resolution, them talking about the ending, this is one of the greatest endings to a video game I have ever experienced, especially a Nintendo game, especially a platformer in general. It just delivers on so many fronts. I was screaming at my TV in excitement. It just felt so magical, and I could not believe what I was looking at as I was going through the ending of the game. And I mean, I doubt it's at all a spoiler at this point, but I still won't talk about it because I think it was just a really incredible game. I even wasn't sure about the introduction of Pauline as a character because of the weird differences that they had done, and also having a human character in a Donkey Kong specific game felt a bit off-putting to me, but they created this really lovely surrogate parent relationship with her and Donkey Kong, and it was, very cute and there was one part towards the end that kind of made me all misty-eyed with one of the things they did. So, mission accomplished. I like that character now. I am so excited for the future of Donkey Kong. It has never looked brighter. We waited 11 years, with no new game, and now we have one that is proclaiming the series is back and bigger than ever. Donkey Kong and all his friends are here to stay, and that could not make me happier. Now, going on is Death Stranding 2, which is, in some ways a similar game, in some ways very different. It also involves a father and child. It also has one of the most bonkers endings I have experienced in a game. And I love Hideo Kojima. I've been on record saying this on the podcast. I know some people are not a fan of his directorial style or just his desire to put any old weird thing in the game, but I love it. I've just always admired him, and I think he also did a good job of taking fan feedback into account with this game. It felt so much better paced than the original. It really felt like it didn't take long to get into the groove of the gameplay, and there were always exciting things pretty frequently every beat to keep you invested. And some of the character moments were even more moving than I expected, because in the first game I felt like I didn't really get a sense of who Dead Man and Die Hard Man and Mama and Lochna were. But this time there is more attention brought to the characters surrounding Sam. And I really appreciated that, having the ship where you go, your base, where you get to interact with everybody. Doll Man was a lot of fun. So I don't know. It looks like, I guess this is slightly spoilers from the end of the game, that there is a future for Death Stranding as a franchise. But we do know that it is not Hideo Kojima's next project. That is instead Physint, which is a stealth action game in the style of his older work. And that looks really exciting in its own right. So, and also OD Knock. Oh my god, that is one of my most anticipated games now. That looks phenomenal. It looks like he is finally being able to revive and revisit PT, which is my favorite horror experience in a game ever. And I love all the little not so subtle nods in the trailer to what that game was supposed to be. But also that he's taking more inspiration from the real world. It's like scanning photos from actual houses where cults were. It's unbelievable. And Jordan Peele is involved. This game is going to be so cool. I cannot wait. There is a lot to be excited for in terms of new games releasing in 2026. But we will not get into that all right now because there are more games that I have had the good fortune of playing this year that have stuck with me. And the next of those is one that is a major franchise, but I feel like has gotten overlooked kind of critically and commercially. And that is Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, which is from the Game Kitchen, the developers of Blasphemous, which may scare you off because those games are a different kind of difficulty. I don't tend to jive well with the kind of Souls type difficulty where it's very slow paced and every exact action that you take, it has to be very methodical or you are deeply punished for it. I don't like those kind of restrictive controls. But this game is fast, is fluid, it plays exactly like you would want a Ninja Gaiden game to play. I love how authentically 80s it is. It takes place at the same time as the original Ninja Gaiden game, which was made in the 80s, but it doesn't feel like it's obnoxiously over the top, neon synth pop stuff. So the story was fun. I got surprisingly attached to the two main characters, and the ending got me pretty emotional too. You can take like one of two routes with the ending, and each one hits differently. And yeah, just learning the boss patterns, going through the different areas. Both of the characters have really fun movesets, and the way they work together in the levels is great. And to me, it just felt like the same feelings that I had playing Shovel Knight for the first time. A game that was really inspired by the past, but so unbelievably polished and full of character and charm and incredible music and visuals and just a full package of a game. And so Ninja Gaiden Ragebound is absolutely worthy of your time. I hope when awards season comes, it receives more attention because it is absolutely deserving of that. And I look forward to maybe playing it again on hard mode. I did all of the side missions on normal mode. So, really a good one. It's rare that I want to revisit a game like that. And next up is Sonic Racing Crossworlds. This game also has a lot of groundswell behind it, particularly as it pertains to the previous kart racing game we talked about. It kind of blew Mario Kart World out of the water in many ways because they have the Sega Arcade Racing team on board. And if you've ever played some of their games in the arcade, you know what bangers they are. And combining that with the characters and music and everything we've come to love about Sonic, it meshes together in this incredible way. The gameplay is so fast and frenetic, but you also feel like you have a lot of control. The items also have defensive options, so I mean, sometimes you get completely wrecked as you're coming to the finish line, but other times you have a better chance of deflecting items. Just the tracks are so well designed, both thematically and in doing different shortcuts and routes. And the portals, of course, the crossworlds keep every race fresh, which is so hard to do in a kart racing game or a racing game in general. It feels like you're so used to just doing the 3 laps that it gets repetitive. But no, I find myself jumping in, both because of that and also because of the music randomizer, the jukebox that you have in the game, which lets you listen to a lot of iconic Sonic music, as well as some Hatsune Miku Vocaloid stuff and assorted other things from the collaborations that they're doing. And so that adds variety to every race. So I just can't get enough of it. It's been a ton of fun. They're continuing to add lots of different characters and courses that are a blast to play on, even if I'm not into Minecraft or the Nickelodeon stuff. I'm super excited for the Mega Man content and Pac-Man, so that's going to be a lot of fun, and all of the free Sega DLC characters they're going to be doing. Excuse me, talking for half an hour straight is a little bit difficult on my throat, so just taking some water. But yeah, I've absolutely been loving that game. Great online cross-play ensures that you're never waiting too long. There's always somebody to play with, which often is a problem with these multiplayer online games when it's locked to one console. So they're just doing all the right things with this game. Hopefully they add Chaos Zero, who's one of my favorite Sonic characters who's not in. My favorite is Metal Sonic, who is in, and I always play as him. So I did all the time trials, which was really challenging. I didn't do the S ranks, which is, like, impossible. But I unlocked all of the music from doing the A ranks across all of the time trials, which I'm still very proud of, because that was not easy either. Moving on to the most recent game that I finished this year, and that was Hades 2. Now, as you may know from listening to previous episodes, the original Hades from Supergiant Games is one of my all-time favorite games. The gameplay loop, the takes on Greek mythology, the interactions between the characters, the fact that the dialogue varies based on each individual choice you make every run. It's just a wonderful game, and it really revolutionized what a roguelike could be. And especially for me, as someone who's a big mythology buff, I loved how respectful they were to the source material while also finding ways to put their own spin on it. And all of that carries over to the sequel. Melinoe is a really good protagonist, and I love following her journey. And the new gods and goddesses that they introduce have a lot of character to them as well. Kronos is such an incredible villain. You really hate his guts. And he taunts you at every turn, and that's great. Some of the other characters they've added, like Odysseus, I was really happy to see. And I don't know if I jived with all of the new weapons that they added. Some of them were great. I loved how you could unlock the different aspects again later, and they had this little bonus where if you used the weapon of the night, you got more shadow crystals depending on what night it was. So that added some more variety to it. And of course, the big thing was you can not only continue to try and leave the underworld, you can also go underneath. And you finally get to see this world's version of Mount Olympus, and you get to see Hades' chambers as Kronos has defiled it in his own image, and the variety of boss battles. You basically get double the amount of content from the original game, but it's a super fulfilling journey, and I was so glad to see it through. I don't know if I really want a Hades 3. I feel like they would have to do something pretty radical to make it different enough to warrant another game. and I wouldn't be surprised if Supergiant just went on to make something entirely different next. But I would love to see them tackle like a different mythology or something. So we'll see what they do. I have no doubt in my mind that they'll make something amazing. And I look forward to going back to Hades 2 now that I have rolled credits on doing some of the other missions and unlocking more things and seeing if there's any sort of epilogue story content, because I know they always go above and beyond in adding stuff for the players to do. Now, as that is all of the games that are new to this year that I've been playing. After playing Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, I've actually started playing the Master Collection of the 3 modern Ninja Gaiden games because I really want to play the 4th one that just released. So I want to catch myself up on the story and the gameplay mechanics and everything. And those are really, really fun. I wish I had gotten to this franchise sooner because I love it a lot. So as far as what's to come this year, the only real games that I know are releasing that I'm hyped for are 2 of the Nintendo games. One thing you may know about me is that I love the works of Masahiro Sakurai, so Kirby Air Riders is definitely a big one on my list that I am enthused about. I've been watching the 1-hour directs like a hawk, where he is presenting every granular detail and really going over how he wants to evolve the original GameCube game and add all these different characters and all these different features. And I am just so excited to be able to play that both solo and online and maybe even local with friends. I don't know if it'll necessarily do to Sonic Racing Cross Worlds what that did to Mario Kart, where it completely took over it. I think it'll exist side by side because Kirby Air Ride is such a unique way of playing, and I mainly play Sonic Racing Cross Worlds on PS5 anyway, so this will be the sort of Nintendo alternative option. So that is about a month from now as I'm recording. Happy Halloween, by the way. This is going up on Halloween. So sorry it's not especially spooky, but it just seems like kind of an evergreen episode. So enjoy it whenever you choose to enjoy it. And the other game that I am excited for the end of this year is Metroid Prime 4, which is another game long in the making. But I am so excited to see Retro Studios back at the helm. It looks like they are making some incredibly smart and fascinating additions to the game with the new motorcycle as well as the psychic abilities that Samus has. The environments look extremely otherworldly and fun to explore, and I just think it's going to be another knockout game. I'm very excited. It's been way too long since we got both a Metroid Prime game and also a new game from Retro, because Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, as we discussed earlier in the episode, came out 11 years ago. So hopefully they've still got the magic touch. It looks like they do. And if my discussion with James Beach, who worked on the game, was anything to go by, they have a lot of talented people behind it. So I am very excited to see that one later this year. I'm sure there are other smaller games that'll pop up that I'd like to play, like Dispatch. I've been hearing amazing things about. That's on my wish list. And Consume Me, which I haven't gotten to play yet from my previous guests, I'm embarrassed to admit. And many, many others, I'm sure. This has just been, as I said at the top, a phenomenal year for game software and works of art that are being released. And I really hope they all get their due, that don't get lost in the shuffle, and that they help people find solace in these trying times that we are in. So here's to another awesome year of games, and we will be continuing to talk with more awesome game developers next week on Pixel Pizza. But before we go, let us hear one more track from 8-Bit Gang, our chiptune artists of the week. And that track is called Trace of Xanadu. So enjoy that one, and we will be back with another developer interview next week on Pixel Pizza.